My name is Fred Cook, and I drive school bus.
My name is Leanne Murchie, and I'm a school bus driver for TCAPS. It's been a very wonderful experience.
When I first hired in, one of the previous bus drivers told me that this particular job, driving school bus, is the best job on earth. So I immediately took to it, and I have to agree that this is one of the best jobs that anyone can do.
What prompted me in the very beginning, I have a college degree, and she said, "You're in the safest vehicle in the world on the road." So I thought, well, I'm gonna try. Because I would be on the same time schedule as my own children. And when they were off, I was off. When holidays, I was there. So it was the best of both worlds. TCAPS offers jobs elsewhere within the system.
Between routes, I used to, for 12, 13 years, I did lunch duty over at East Middle School, and now I paint.
They're real good about finding people the hours that they need during the course of the day to make the job great. We have Mesa Insurance. The whole district has it. It's awesome. It's the best health insurance. We offer a 401k. There's a sign-on bonus. It's a win-win situation.
The most important thing, I think, coming to work at TCAPS is you understand that you are a part of a team. It's a part of a collective. It's not just bus drivers and then versus teachers. It's not that. We all are in this thing called education together.
If a person generally likes kids, this is a perfect job.
So I'm talking to kids all day, and that experience is really heartwarming, and I continue to understand what it means to be a part of the community.
You are an educator. You have a chance to touch children's lives every day, and don't think that you don't. You are such an important part of the wheel of education.
All right. We would like to welcome the audience and thank you for attending. Viewers may watch Board of Education meetings and board committee meetings live on TV 190 or online at tcaps.net/board. Recorded meetings may be viewed on demand at the same address. Looking at the room, there is no public comment. So we'll move forward with procedural items. We have the draft meeting minutes portion of the agenda. Are there any changes?
I don't have any.
All right. Then hearing none, minutes remain as posted. And moving on to the agenda review for September 11th, deferring to Dr. Magna.
Okay, so we have our normal call to order our Pledge of Allegiance, review of the agenda. Recognition, this month we will have the Father Fred Foundation. So they've worked a lot over the summer with our Sunshine Bus and delivering food, a ton of food to kids. And so we're going to recognize them. And Ginger, correct me if I'm wrong, I also believe we're going to invite the bus drivers that were a part of that as well.
Yes.
That spent their time through the summer of delivering food. So we're going to spend some time to recognize and appreciate all the efforts that they've done this summer. We'll have our first public comment. We will have our legislative update and district highlights. Again, not a big legislative update. They go back to session, I think, next week. So not a lot there. We'll have our board committee reports with board office hour report out. On our consent agenda, we'll have our personnel recommendations for information for the board. our course catalog with amendments, which we do have quite a few. That did go through curriculum committee. We have 2 bids for fire alarm services and food service equipment that did get forwarded for the agenda under consent by the finance committee yesterday. And then we have our meeting minutes. We'll have a discussion on school safety update, and we'll talk about that. I did receive, and I know that Scott, you yesterday we received a request for not this month, but possibly next month, to get the report from the Safe Schools committee that is met, and so they've made a request, and also I'll talk about that. We have the certification for the board election of voting delegates for the MASB assembly, so we'll take care of that. Further discuss our property offers for 412 Webster Street and 3723 Shore Road, which is Bertha Voss. We'll give you an update on a couple things right now with that. So I had the chance to meet with Troon and the Boardman LLC representatives, as well as Chris Forsyth from Grand Traverse County, the deputy county administrator. I'm talking about the ability of possible funds from the land bank. That is probably not going to fit into it, unfortunately, for the qualifications, because really requires it to be affordable housing versus market rate housing. However, we think some brownfield dollars quite a bit we'll be able to do. So today, Troon and Boardman LLC will be meeting with the county's consultant for brownfield to discuss that. I'm actually not going to be in that. I have another meeting that the governor's office has set up today. But Troon's going to represent us as our representative and be working with Boardman LLC on getting a agreement to bring back to the board for it. And so the brownfield dollars, that there may have to be some negotiation there of how that might be split up that could help us with moving costs out of this building are eligible under brownfield. So that's where some negotiation. However, there's only so much of the brownfield dollars from the tax capture, and I know that the developer wants all that they can have, so hence the negotiation content. So there's that, and then also I need a little direction on, and I think I know where to go, but for Bertha Voss, the board asked me to continue conversations with the Acme Township. However, they also asked me to be in contact with a commercial real estate agent and to have them available if we have not had any movement by the next board meeting. So I have contacted and had conversation with Caldwell Banker Schmidt Commercial Real Estate, have requested that both Dan Stiebel and Scott Hardy, Scott Hardy is a former TCAPS board member, to both co-represent Coldwell Banker, and I had requested that somebody from within their agency be available for the board meeting. Okay. I just, at this point, my thought is I'll have them here. I don't know that the board, may have questions, want to do something, may not, and I let them know that it's very fluid still, but that's my plan, if that makes sense to you guys.
Yep.
Okay. So they had said, Scott had told me they'll have somebody here at the board meeting.
So the only thing that we would get to, when we're getting to the point of appointing it, I think the thing that the board would approve is the agreement, the listing agreement.
Correct. And this is very preliminary
So
still.
this is preliminary.
But
You're not
I have
gonna
somebody
be asking for
exactly.
approval. Okay.
And they know that the thing with Acme may still happen, and totally understand, totally fine. But if the board chooses to go that route, I'll have somebody available to answer questions and thoughts, and then we could go through the official process as you discussed, probably, of the following board meeting.
That's fine. I just wanted to check if we're going to have any requests to approve that, then we have that.
I do not have that on the docket, but again, the board can go any direction they want, but
That's
that
fine.
would not be my intent. Mine is just there for them to answer any questions, thoughts. That's what I felt like the intent of having the board ask me to do, to kind of be ready in the wings for that, and so we'll have that.
Okay.
Is there any indication that somebody from Acme may be here as well?
No, but I can also put that out there,
Just to
to
see.
ask. They are on their timeline. they've clearly stated in inspections and all that, so I don't know, but I will definitely put out there an invite based on, and let them know that, where that is.
Tell them we'll give them a cold water.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, medium cold, I don't know. Lukewarm.
No, given the weather. it'll-
Yeah, okay, we'll make sure it's cold, all right. So that's the plan on that, and we'll move forward with those. And then we have our second public comment, board president, closing remarks, and adjournment.
Okay. Any questions on the September 11th meeting?
I apologize for being late, but I have one question. Will we do an update at all on some of the issues that are coming in about just getting things started for the school year? Classrooms,
I'll have somewhat of a start,
Just a
update, I generally, in my
update.
superintendent's report.
that would be
Yeah,
great.
yep,
Okay.
yep.
good.
And this is fairly typical, Beth, around this time of year because, what we found that happens is that you never know until about now what kids are going to come back, show up. We see spikes in different class sizes, and then these guys have to move the pieces around.
I
and
understand.
A lot of it
I
gets
do.
solved, but not all of it.
But also just the indication that we're paying attention
Yeah.
Yep.
publicly.
Yeah, and we'll get. I think we will
think that's
get some
important.
good responses out now too. Now the pieces are starting to get placed, so we can hopefully get a better message out as
Sounds
well.
good.
To give you an idea, last year we hired a few teachers on the Friday before it started school. That's just three on the Friday before the Tuesday we started. So fairly
I
common.
I understand.
Erica in our HR office says she hasn't had a Labor Day weekend, to,
Years.
really in years here to do, so.
And it's her anniversary weekend.
And it's her
I mean,
anniversary weekend, so we're trying to get her, but I will make sure to update in the superintendent's report.
Thank you.
And I can touch on a few things when I do my report here in just a second, too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll leave it to that. Okay. Any other questions on that? Then let's go to HR items to go to Connie Taylor.
Well, speaking of staffing, as you indicated, we have heard from some parents, some concerns, and I just, I want to reassure everyone that we monitor the numbers every day. And we look at not only the class sizes, but class composition. We're also looking at space limitations in buildings. Some of our classrooms are larger than other classrooms, and so some buildings may be able to accommodate a larger class. And then also looking at ways to mitigate when we are not able to add an additional section. So some of the things that we're running up against, as you can imagine, with our staffing shortage, we're feeling really good that we have all of our current elementary positions filled as of yesterday. Literally as of 5 p.m. yesterday, we filled our last elementary opening to start the school year. Having said that, we're continuing to watch some numbers in some of the buildings. They're creeping up, and we were having casual conversation before the meeting today, and some unexpected grade levels that we, typically you would think kindergarten is where we're going to see all the new kids come in, but we're seeing a big influx of fifth graders for whatever reason that is across the district. So just know that we're continuing to watch that. The challenge that we have at this point is the lack of candidates. So if we were inclined to add an additional section, we don't have candidates right now to put in those. And so we're just trying to reassure parents that we're watching it and we're doing the best that we can to provide supports in those classrooms in the event that we cannot add an additional teacher or section within a building. So really that's kind of where we are. It's since July 1 though, we've reviewed over 650 applicants for different positions across the district. We've conducted over 175 interviews. We have hired more than 65 new hires and then also facilitated the move to new positions or different positions for folks within the district for over 50 staff members. So it's been pretty hectic. Like I just shared, we filled our last elementary vacancy yesterday, but continuing to watch the numbers. But we still do have some vacancies out there in the district. We're sitting at 5 custodial openings. We have interviews scheduled for next week, but at this point we do still have 5 second and third shift full-time custodial openings. Bus drivers, hired 2 yesterday, which is always a good
It's a
thing.
really
They
good day.
still need to go
Yeah.
through. Yeah, they need to go through the training process because they don't currently hold the credentials, but we're encouraged. But that still leaves us with 13 bus openings, so we're always looking for our bus drivers. Food service, we're sitting at 3 vacancies right now, 2 full-time and 1 part-time. And from an aid perspective, we're looking for some special ed floating aids, as well as I indicated, sometimes when our classes get large, one of the contractual options is to put some aid support into that classroom. So we're posting those overload aid positions as well. And then as it relates to our early childhood, still looking for our extended day before and after school folks. So continuing to hire, but feeling like we're in a good spot from an instructional standpoint. You have teachers in the classroom to kick off the school year. So that's a good thing.
And then from a transportation, we're about where we have been, which is manageable if everything goes okay.
Yeah, we have not been fully staffed in transportation for years. So, I mean, knock on wood, being 13 down, you know, it's all relative, right?
Yeah.
But we're feeling pretty good, but would absolutely love to be able to hire those 13 people, because what happens is that we tap our current staff members on the shoulder a lot to do, you know, combined runs. We're pulling people out of our mechanics out of their duties. We're pulling some of our AFSCME employees go over and drive bus for us at certain times. So it would be nice just to have
Yep.
a fully staffed transportation department, but we are certainly not alone. In fact, we're probably, knock on wood, better off than many districts,
Yeah.
particularly districts our size. Next thing on my thing, I did put on to talk a little bit about the policy transition. Not a lot to update, but as we go through this transition, I will try to update this committee on where we are. We have notified Troon, we have ordered their services, so identifying who the point persons will be, and obviously that will be myself and Kendall in my department. And we are going to start facilitating or scheduling the meetings for the various content areas to get together and start looking at those policies batch by batch by batch by section. So we'll be bringing those updates to you as we move forward with that transition. And then the last thing, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update. Last year, we heard during not only Meet and Confer, but our roundtable discussions with some of our support groups, that they would really like, from a retention standpoint and a growth standpoint, some professional development opportunities. So we sent a survey out to all of our hourly support folks, looking at what they would want for training. And some of the things that we heard were seclusion and restraint, safety training, and technology training, and those were really kind of the top 2. So we worked with, in partnership with Northwest Ed, to bring to our support groups just an overview of seclusion and restraint. They won't be certificated, but to know, you know, how to assist if there's a child in crisis with our teachers who are fully trained in seclusion and restraint, and they offered several sessions to our support groups over the last couple of weeks. And then we also tag-teamed Patrick and I doing our district legal considerations around safety, and then Patrick doing the school safety update for those. So it was a nice full day of training, paid training for our support groups. And now we're working on presenting to those same groups in the upcoming months on some of our early release days, some technology training that Evan is coordinating for that group. So we're trying to be responsive to what they're looking for, but also just helping to grow the capacity of our outstanding support staff that we have here at TCAPS.
It's good that you got that feedback from them and then tailored that towards what they want to be sitting all day learning about.
Right, yes.
All right. Any other questions on HR side? All right, then we move on to communications, deferring to Ginger Smith.
Okay, so we have 3 areas that I'd like to just highlight this morning. The first is we did our staff welcome back on Monday, and we had a new approach this year with incorporating our health and well-being initiative. We did this by setting up community vendors around the Traverse City West High School track. We had 35 community vendors. In addition to that, we also had some department tables set up for our strategic plan and pre-bond with Dr. Van Wagner, and HR had a site, communications, and then safety and security. So it was a very exciting way to go about it. We had a terrific feedback from both our staff and our vendors. Many of the vendors that I spoke to already signed up for next year. They want to come back. They want to do it again, and many even expressed any other opportunities that might be available throughout the year, that they really just want to ensure their partnership with us this academic year. So along with that, we developed a passport, so to speak, with all of the vendors listed on there, and staff could have signatures placed on their card to make them eligible to win prizes. We announced those prizes yesterday. Many great things that these vendors provided, including, gift cards for school supplies and coolers and coffee mugs and things of that nature. So that was a very exciting new approach to that event, and hopefully we can see that grow in future years. The next item is just an update on current advertising. In case you hear on the radio or see on TV, we do have a lot of enrollment initiatives still underway, and that includes 30-second commercials on air, and we also have a 2-month campaign running with 9 and 10 with their streaming television series, which is a new way that you can really target specific age groups and demographic television watchers. So the fun thing with that is we can watch live analytics on our computers to see who is actually tuning in, what their categories and demographics are. So it's been extremely enlightening to see if it matches what we consider our demographics to be on our social media platforms. And so probably having way too much fun with it, but it's been great to see the success rate with that, the click-through rates and all of that. So we are continuing with that through September yet, just to get us kind of through the start of the academic year. We also have an ongoing social media presence continuing, mainly to highlight the ongoing need for families who have not yet enrolled their kindergarten, junior kindergarten, and preschool children to do so as soon as possible, and also to promote the open houses so that if they had not yet already enrolled, that they would have access to those dates and times and know to still be able to attend those events. Finally, I just want to touch on our student support network and all the back to school initiatives that are underway with that. We did launch a new intake process in PowerSchool. It allows us to track services that are provided to all students, not just McKinney-Vento. We have identified over 50 McKinney-Vento students already this year. With that program, you do always need to kind of clear your roster at the end of the academic year and start over each year. So to know that we're already at 50 is a sign that we're going to be able to provide services to these students immediately. So right now we are working hard to secure transportation for those students and clothing and shoes to make their back to school a success. So, of course, I just want to give a big shout out and thank you to both Rotary Charities and the Presbyterian Church of Traverse City for the backpacks and all the school supplies. That has been a huge lift for many of our families, and I just wish to express a thanks to all of them for that effort. That's all I have.
Any questions on communications?
When was the last day for the Sunshine Bus?
It will be Friday.
Tomorrow. Okay.
Going right till
All the
this
way up.
weekend. You
Yeah.
got
Start of school.
Yeah.
Yep, and obviously with HR and communications, one of the things that themes is obviously we're going to be still probably likely down a little on attendance, but we are better than we anticipated. So that's part of our problems, which is a good problem to have for sure. So I wonder how many people with the trends that we're seeing. It's always weird how many people show up without ever registering. I wonder if that's going to be higher this year or.
Who knows? It's always amazing to me. 2 years ago, I remember, come through end of COVID, if you will, or towards, the first day I was at Cherry Knoll, and somebody just showed up with 5 kids. That's where I enrolled for school.
Yeah.
First day.
Yeah.
Here it is. You bet.
Happens every year.
Yeah.
So you just, that's the way it rolls. And some people, some people are moving in. And, I will tell you, it's interesting. I have heard a couple of caveats from a few buildings of some of an influx of folks from Hawaii
Oh.
that have come in with family. And then it'll be interesting with the hurricanes
Yeah.
that are happening right now, from that standpoint. If it's just people end up staying with families and migrating, and it's well into a year many times. And so, that'll be the other piece that some people just literally may show up, this weekend, and need school. So,
It'll be interesting to, once we have time to do a deeper dive into the influx of fifth graders, if that is kind of the COVID effect of people
yeah.
homeschooling for a few years and then coming back in fifth grade.
And a lot of times you'll get some of those kind of transitions for people go, okay, my child next year is going to be in the middle school. I want them, or you'll even see it, from different schools that even go, we see it once in a great while at Montessori, where folks go, want my kid, be, ready to go for that. And so it's just a parent's preference and happens sometimes.
Well, bring them on.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I feel like COVID was a long time ago, and we're still doing the shakeout from it. But,
Sure.
all right. With any other items? All right. Then the next board executive committee meeting is Thursday, September 28th at 9 a.m. I will not be in attendance, I don't think. So we'll plan on not being in attendance right this second. But so we will have that filled. And with that, any opposition to adjournment?
Nine.
Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.